Welcome back to A Sip of Drama, where the tea is boiling and the courtroom is hotter than Diddy's 2005 tour schedule. So imagine this. You're worth hundreds of millions. You've got an empire, a legacy, a vault full of secrets, literally. And you walk into court thinking, I'll be home by dinner. Spoiler alert. You will not be home by dinner, or next week, or maybe ever. Because Sean Diddy Combs just had his bail dreams obliterated in court, and what came after? Let's just say it didn't just shake the courtroom. It split the music industry in half. Let's start with the moment the system looked him in the face and said, "Not this time." Diddy's legal team walked in ready to sell a fantasy. No flight risk, honorable business owner, cooperating citizen. They offered the works, no passport, full-time surveillance, private security. But the prosecution, they came with fire. Not just receipts, but coded files, offshore transfers, and a contingency escape map allegedly pulled from Diddy's own hard drive. The judge took one look at that pile of digital ammo and said, "Bail denied." No hesitation, no second glance, just denial, like she'd been waiting to say it. And just like that, the myth of invincibility cracked. But the real hit came next, when the jury walked in with verdicts. The room was still, but the tension, thick enough to slice with a subpoena. As the foreperson read the verdict, Diddy stood like a statue, expression locked, unreadable. But behind him, a juror wiped a tear. A staffer near the bench whispered, "Finally?" Reporters forgot to breathe. Guilty on multiple counts, and the internet exploded. Tweets, threads, breaking banners, memes before the jury even left the room. But what made the explosion nuclear? It wasn't just what the jury decided, it was how the prosecution proved it. If courtroom wins were rap battles, the prosecution didn't need bars. They just walked up, pressed play, and let the footage speak for itself. One file, labeled Icarus, showed Diddy alone in a soundproof room, pacing. He ranted about control, surveillance, influence. And then, dead serious, said, "Even if it all falls, I'm still the god they pray to." The courtroom froze. No rebuttal, no spin, just raw arrogance, captured on camera. And then they dropped. Emails reading, "Clean the house." Footage dumps from deleted drives. A post-it stuck to a vault wall that read, "Always record the room. Always." This wasn't a case. It was a precision takedown. And when it was time for allies to speak, crickets. Not one A-lister showed up to back Diddy. Not Jay-Z, not French, not even the interns he used to shout out on album liner notes. Just silence. Insiders say calls were made, but the response? Ghost town. Why? Because allegedly, Diddy kept files. Not on his computer, on people, encrypted backups, voice memos, loyalty scores. And some names had risk ratings next to them. In an industry where secrets are currency, speaking up wasn't just brave, it was dangerous. But while the stars stayed silent, let's give it up for the keyboard warriors, because Reddit was right. The TikTok theorists, the Twitter sleuths, the YouTube truthers, all dismissed as conspiracy clowns until now. They were posting mansion blueprints, party rosters, shell company trails before the prosecution even blinked. One Reddit user exposed a square footage gap on Diddy's home that ended up being, wait for it, the vault entrance. Another posted a timeline of vanishing collaborators and how they all last appeared at invite-only parties. It wasn't guesswork, it was early reporting. And suddenly, those wild theories looked more like leaked blueprints, and that pressure started bursting pipes. The moment the verdict hit, the collapse began. C-Rock deals frozen. Fashion brands deleted collabs. Spotify quietly pulled him from algorithmic rotation. And Bad Boy HQ, lights out, staff gone, phones disconnected. Even the domain started redirecting to a 404. Internal leaks say execs referred to him as brand liability alpha, which sounds like something out of a tech meltdown, not hip-hop history. But maybe the worst part? It wasn't just the labels dropping him, it was the culture. And now, people who were once silenced, backup dancers, makeup artists, former assistants, drivers, the people behind the glitz, now they're front and center. One anonymous ex-employee said, "He didn't throw parties, he threw simulations." Others mentioned a room referred to as the House of Edits, where nothing was what it seemed and everything was being recorded. Some signed blank NDAs, just blank documents with their signature on file, to be filled in later. Now, those NDAs are being challenged, and those voices getting louder. But the loudest message didn't come from the people, it came from the vault. Behind a fake panel, retina scan locked, soundproofed, the vault. Inside, the FBI found surveillance footage, time-stamped, unedited a spreadsheet titled Influence Network 2.0, a folder labeled Failsafe, deploy if compromised. One agent described it as a structured system of coercion. Another said it may hold implications that extend beyond the music industry. There's talk that other names are in that Failsafe folder. Big names, the kind with lawyers and networks behind them. The contents, still sealed. But the speculation, louder than ever. And that brings us to the moment everyone missed. But no one should forget. As the courtroom emptied like a popped champagne bottle, Diddy didn't move, he didn't cry, didn't lash out, just turned, eyes locked on Juror 6. She was the quiet one, the one who scribbled notes nonstop, never once looked at him. Now, she rose, gathered her coat, and still avoided his gaze. And Diddy? He stared. 5 full seconds, stone still. Then came the smile, cold, calculated, not surprised, not defeated, just knowing, like he still had cards in his pocket, like he knew this wasn't over. Now pause for a second and imagine this. What if that vault, the one that started it all, wasn't the only one? What if the real insurance wasn't digital? What if there are letters, names, conversations tucked in safety deposit boxes across the globe? What if the courtroom was just Act 1? And Act 2 is a silent war already in motion. Would the people who stayed quiet stay quiet? Would the people who testified stay safe? And what happens if that fail-safe file, the one marked deploy if compromised, is opened? Not by the court, but by someone on the inside. This isn't fan fiction. This is what happens when power gets cornered. If that last section made your spine tingle, good. That means you're paying attention. Because this trial didn't just close a case, it opened a system, and we're going to keep following the fallout. Every name, every move, every new leak. So smash that like if you're locked in, drop your Act 2 theories in the comments, and subscribe to A Sip of Drama, because court might be over. But the drama just got started.